Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are going to be doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Thank you for sharing your beautiful light and energy here with the channel. And I'm so excited to get into today's reading because I've been picking up on a really beautiful collective energy. And this collective that I am picking up on here, I had to almost take a breath there before getting into the messages because this energy that's coming through is so exhilarating and new and exciting. You may even start to feel some of that excitement in your being in the form of like butterflies or adrenaline or just suddenly feeling happy out of nowhere. And if you aren't yet feeling that, then you actually may just be on a different wave or timeline. So I actually could be speaking predictively to what is going to be coming into your life very soon, maybe like what you have to look forward to. So I feel that I should start by sharing kind of the progression that I've been picking up on here for this collective. So what I've been getting is that you've gone through some kind of void recently where there may have been a lot of feelings of apathy, and some of you may still be in this kind of void because, again, we are all on different waves and timelines. But what I'm getting is that you were in this void where the distractions were forcibly removed from your life. But the thing is, many of these distractions were at one time providing you a temporary hit of dopamine or validation or excitement. And so when these things were seemingly removed from your life, whether it was people, connections, opportunities, things going on in your life, while on the one hand, I'm getting peace started to feel better to you than these distractions. Now, when I talk about these distractions, there is more to the story there because there actually was a purpose to all of those things when they were in your life. They did serve a purpose. Your intuition guided you to engage with them in some way in the past for a reason. There's so much that I want to say here, so bear with me as I try to capture this message from all angles. But the first thing that I was getting in my meditation today is that each of these different things that now feel like distractions to you, but at one time your intuition was guiding you towards, again, whether it was activities you participated in or opportunities or environments you would go and visit or a lifestyle or different people you would connect with, they were all bringing you pieces of yourself or reflecting to you pieces of yourself, fragments of yourself in some way that needed to be retrieved. They were all teaching you something about yourself. And I actually was getting the message that they were all pointing you back to yourself. So really all along, it's been this spiraling journey of self-love. And I use that word spiraling because it's felt very non-linear. It's felt like a journey that people around you may doubt or not be able to understand, or even your own conscious mind at times may have difficulty understanding because it's been more like an unraveling process. It's been you peeling back all of these layers of programming that kept you from fully living and fulfilling and expressing as the truest, most core version of yourself. And what I was getting is every single one of these interactions, experiences, conversations, people, things in your life that may now look like detours or may now look like distractions actually served a very powerful purpose. I'm hearing from the outside looking in, it may have looked like you were aimless or you were just mindlessly connecting or engaging with these different things, but there was an internal process that no one else was aware of, that you were trusting the entire time. You were trusting that your intuition was leading you from one thing to the next, and you believed deep in your soul that eventually, when these different things were no longer meant for you or aligned with you, or they taught you everything that they had to teach you, they would naturally kind of dissipate or dissolve or be removed from your life, or you would suddenly start to feel apathetic towards them. And that's exactly what has happened. But I feel even though all along you were anticipating this happening, this void space coming where you would either feel no longer pulled to these people or things, or they would actually be removed from your life, I feel it's still been a little bit scary since it's actually occurred. Like, it's really happening now. You knew this was coming. You knew this was going to happen, but now it's actually happening. And for many of you, it already has happened. And so you've been in this void. And the thing about this void is you've been more at peace than ever before in your life. You feel this sense of wholeness within yourself. And just like your intuition was guiding you through all of those different connections or things that looked like detours, but were really teaching you more about yourself and helping you peel back the layers, just like you trusted your intuition through that whole process, you've been asked to trust your intuition in the void, to trust that if peace is what feels best to you right now, and you're just relaxing into this energy of peace and embracing this void space, you've been trusting that this void is going to be filled by what is truly aligned for you, and that you will know it when you see it or when it comes into your life. And this trust has not been easy, because what I'm getting is this void has been a little bit scary. It's been so quiet in a way, spiritually or emotionally, or at times it may have even felt like rejection, because you may have felt as though people and things and opportunities that used to want to be around you or connect with you suddenly disappeared. But it's not really that they were rejecting you and disappearing. You are the one who leveled up out of the energy that they were able to connect with. So you've been in this void, but you've been trusting that you were in the hallway between doorways, and that the next door that was going to open was going to be a really powerful one. And I'm hearing not like anything you've ever experienced before. And I keep getting the word wholeness, because I feel that this door that's opening for you in the void is a door leading you to the people, things, and connections and experiences that reflect and meet you in your wholeness. The thing about all of those things and people that we were talking about that in the end began to just feel like they were draining your energy or distractions or detours, while at the time they were teaching you or reflecting to you pieces and parts of yourself, the thing that these different people and opportunities had in common is they couldn't meet you in your wholeness. In fact, they were meant to bring you back to wholeness. But the thing is, I feel that you in your wholeness left them feeling threatened. This could be literal people who felt jealous or unworthy when they saw you standing in your wholeness, showing up in your entirety, shining so brightly in your highest power. This also could be opportunities that for whatever reason wouldn't accept you or want you to connect with them when you were fully in your power. This even could be environments that felt like they just weren't meshing with you anymore, or even kind of ejected you out of them in some way. But this was all actually a divine preservation, preserving you for this door that is opening now, that you've been trusting all along would open. That at times it's been difficult to trust, because I just keep getting that this void has felt so empty. And there's been a part of you wondering, will I ever find community again? Or will I ever find, for some of you, this could be love, like romance. Will I ever find that romantic connection that really lights me up, that fully meets me? Am I holding out for something that doesn't exist? Many of you may have even gotten cold feet about people, things, or environments that you cut out of your life for a reason, that you disconnected from because it began to drain you or feel distracting to your purpose, or you began to become intuitively aware of ways in which it was actually feeling threatened by you, or feeling some kind of negative way towards you beneath the surface, even if it wasn't vocalizing that fully out loud. Whatever the reason was, I feel that you either disconnected yourself or removed yourself from many different connections, people, environments, opportunities, things in your life, or they were removed from your life. And in either case, it sent you into this space that I've been calling the void, where things have felt very still, very quiet, very peaceful, very aligned, but there's been this sense of stagnancy. Like, what if, it's like this fear, what if I'm no longer as magnetic because I'm not attracting in these, lower caliber, lower vibrational things that I didn't want anyway. Which, of course, I feel your core affirmation internally through all of this has been, I only want what truly wants me when I'm fully in my power, when I'm fully aligned, when I'm in my state of peace and my wholeness. And if you haven't yet been consciously using that kind of an affirmation or something along those lines, that might be really helpful for you if you are still in the middle of that void. There was something else that was coming up, but I feel I might be meant to speak on it later because I think I lost it just for a second, but I'll let you know when it does resurface again. So what I'm getting is that for some of you, this has already happened. For others of you, you've been sensing it, you've been trusting it. It's your sign to keep trusting it. But in either case, there is something coming to fill this void space. And I'm hearing it's a whole new reality. It's a whole new timeline. In fact, I'm picking up that you've never leveled up so completely in all aspects and areas in the way that you either recently did or are about to. Because I'm talking about like new friends coming into your life, like soul friends, new forms of community. I'm hearing unexpected community. So you may meet or connect with people in the most unexpected, beautiful ways when you're just in your flow, when you're in alignment. And you find that these connections are like nothing you've ever experienced in the way that they support you and enhance your energy and inspire you and uplift you and empower you. If you are manifesting something romantically, or you are currently single or just in flux romantically, I'm picking up that there is a very powerful romantic soulmate who is literally like, has already connected with you spiritually and you've been sensing it if that part of the message is for you, and they are soon going to enter your life physically. For others of you, they've already entered your life, or you are going to have multiple different romantic soulmate options that are deeply complementary to you on a soul level. But again, that's for those of you who may be single or exploring in love. In either case, the connections that show up, the opportunities that show up, the things that come into your life now are reflecting your wholeness and supporting your peace. That is what I'm picking up on the most strongly from this reading. And I just keep getting that this is like nothing you've ever experienced before. You're not even going to have anything to compare this to, because you're going to experience forms of community that you didn't know existed. Opportunities that are so aligned with you, you never would have imagined they existed. Love that feels so wonderful and beautiful and supportive, you never would have imagined it existed. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from this. I really feel like these shifts I've been picking up on in just the last couple days or the last few weeks feel like some of the most, if not the most powerful shifts that I have ever picked up on in creating these videos on this channel. And I know that's a really big thing to say, but there is something so powerful about what is happening within you right now. And it's because you've had the courage to self-actualize in a way that hardly anyone does. That's another message that was coming through really strongly, that you have done something so few people have the courage to do. You've chosen to walk your own path. You've chosen to learn how to love yourself completely, deeply, to come into your state of wholeness, to not settle in any area of your life. And because of that, you are going to be given the privilege of being able to self-actualize, to truly fulfill yourself on all levels, spiritually, emotionally, physically, in a way that most people never have the opportunity to do, because they don't allow themselves to believe that that kind of fulfillment, that kind of self-actualization is possible. And so they stop themselves short. They settle for less than that. They cap themselves out, so to speak. And you are not doing that. And you are a very powerful example to others because you're not doing that. I just feel like the whole reality around you is in the process of shifting, or already has just shifted in a massive way. And I'm also hearing that increasingly, I just remembered what I'm supposed to talk about. I want to talk about it before it goes away again. Cloaking. Okay. So I created an Instagram text post on this concept of cloaking energetically. And this specifically tends to happen to the divine feminine most dominantly. Of course, divine feminine, divine masculine are labels that don't necessarily connect with specific genders, and we all have a balance of both energies within us. So take it however it resonates. but I was specifically getting that for a group of divine feminines, you found yourself often being veiled or cloaked. And what I mean by that is when you level up to a higher octave of existence, when you raise your frequency in a dramatic way, at times it can feel confusing because internally you can have an awareness that you are more aligned and more magnetic and more radiant and beautiful and at peace than you've ever been before. But physically, there may be these periods of time that I'm calling cloaking, where you may feel cloaked, where you feel as though, for example, you go out in public or you're in a room and it's almost like you are floating through that environment invisible. Like people don't really seem to respond to you. They don't seem to notice you. You feel like you are somehow like veiled from them. And yet the strange thing about this cloaking experience, for those of you who have had this experience, is that when you do meet or connect with a person, an environment, an opportunity, a friend, whoever who really is on your level energetically, it's almost like in that moment, the cloak is thrown off. You are like fully revealed, fully glowing, fully lit up. You connect in the most beautiful way with that person, whether it's a compliment from a stranger, even just locking eyes with a stranger, whether it's, you know, something that you feel guided to say to someone, a meaningful conversation, an opportunity that comes your way, abundance that manifests into your life. It feels like it happens so instantaneously and suddenly, where you go from feeling invisible to that cloak being thrown off, you having this amazing manifested moment of connection or abundance or opportunity or love or whatever the case is. And then suddenly you're in your fullness and it's like everyone can see you in that moment. Like, wow, where did she or he come from? They just see you like for that brightness and fullness and energy and magnetism that you were feeling within yourself. But the thing you have to understand is the reason this happens is that you are being preserved energetically for those higher caliber kinds of connections, opportunities, and experiences, while at the same time being protected from the lower caliber opportunities, things, or experiences. You're literally like this glitch in the matrix. Like people who are not in your frequency, on your level, are literally going to not be able to fully take you in or perceive you. And whoa, I just got this like wave of chills that moved through me as I'm speaking about this, because it reminds me of how, okay, so let me cook here. As someone said in the comments, let infinity cook. So, okay, what I mean by this is, for example, have you ever seen those videos? I can't remember the exact video, but I'm pretty sure it's a video of people playing basketball, and in like a psychology class or whatever, they will tell you to focus on the basketball, to focus your eyes on the basketball. And then after the clip, they'll ask you if you saw like the gorilla or something that was like walking behind the basketball players. And if you were focused on the basketball, you wouldn't be able to see the gorilla because it's a matter of perception. It's something that wouldn't have fit with what you were fixated on, what you were perceiving, this basketball game, and you're focused on the ball. And so our perception of reality is not a true reflection of the entire reality. It's about what our energy allows us to perceive, to take in through our senses. So when someone is on a lower frequency, and they're focused in a negative way, whereas you are in this super high vibrational frequency, they are not going to be able to perceive you no matter how glaringly obvious, beautiful, powerful, magnetic you are. And in fact, if they're on a lower vibration, the more you are those things, the less likely they are going to be able to see you and acknowledge you, because essentially you do not fit with their version of reality. This is why even in the paranormal realm, we talk about people being able to see visible spirits or ghosts at some points in time. And many of you may have had experiences of seeing an apparition or spirit at some point in your life, or an energy of some kind. Let me know in the comments if you have. I'm very curious about that. But many of us have had some kind of experience with the paranormal. But the reason that we miss most of these experiences is because our brain will immediately find a way to attempt to explain an anomaly and fit it into our current version of reality rather than seeing it fully and clearly for what it is if it's not really on our frequency, if it's out of our norm. So when you are the glitch in the matrix, when you're carrying this super high vibrational frequency, when you are the anomaly, so to speak, of high energy, then the reason that people focused in a lower vibrational way cannot perceive you is because you do not fit in their version of reality. You are disruptive to their version of reality. But the people that you are apparent to, people who do recognize you and honor you and admire you and see you, are the ones who are either on that level energetically or at the very least are open to it and looking for a higher perspective. This is why at this point, you are going to notice more and more that the only people you really seem to feel connected to really interact with in a meaningful way, to feel acknowledged by, to feel seen by, are going to be the ones who either are in the middle of opening their mind and opening their soul spiritually, going through some kind of awakening, wanting to open to a higher perspective, or those who already have opened to a higher perspective. And that's a beautiful thing because it focuses your mission and your energy in a more powerful way on the things and people and experiences that are truly fulfilling for you and aligned with your mission, your purpose, with who you are. It's an amazing thing that your energy has become so polarizing. And I did an Instagram post recently about polarization and how the more powerful your energy becomes, the more polarizing you are, meaning you tend to attract extreme reactions, either total apathy or even rejection or just feeling invisible around certain people, like we've talked about with this cloaking thing, or the other extreme, feeling so seen and admired and understood and acknowledged by people on the other end of this kind of energetic spectrum. By the way, I've kind of referenced my Instagram a few times. If you do want to follow me there, my Instagram is @magnetizeyourself, but I also always leave a link to it in the description box, just as a little bit of an aside. So, wow, I haven't even pulled a card yet in this reading. There's just been so much coming through here. I saw a bear emerging from a hibernation. I almost feel like this is you. Maybe you've been in some kind of hibernation, some kind of downtime where you've been recharging, where there's been this season of withdrawal in your life, where you've withdrawn into yourself. But now I see what I'm seeing now is all of these cosmos and stars and planets and energy pulling in together, into this tight ball, into this withdrawal, this hibernation period, and then suddenly exploding out into this huge, expansive universe. And I feel like you were contracting in order to expand faster than you ever have before. So this contraction, this withdrawal, this kind of pulling in to yourself that you may have experienced, this void we've been referencing, was really the precursor to this massive expansion, and a necessary precursor at that. But because you've had the courage to trust in the void and not to retreat, you are now going to experience this massive expansion. I will say, as a little aside to that, I don't think it would have even been possible for you to go back. I feel for some of you, maybe there were moments where you got cold feet or you got scared about the void, which is natural because we are human. We are here having a human experience. And what we are doing as a collective has literally never been done in this way before. We are leading so many others. It's natural to feel that fear or to feel that uncertainty at times. It's part of the process. But I feel that for some of you, maybe you did try, and there's no shame in this. Again, it's all part of the process, but maybe you did try to reconnect with those old energies, to reattach some of those old threads for some sense of validation or comfort, or just to feel something, to feel less than this apathy, to feel more, I guess I should say, than this apathy. But what I'm getting is the universe wouldn't even let you go back. Your own spirit, your higher self wouldn't let you go back. You couldn't retreat because you'd already expanded. So even if you did try to reattach some of those old threads of energy, to reach out to old friends you'd already distanced from, to maybe reconnect with old romantic flames you already cut out of your life for a reason, to go back into past environments or opportunities, looking for some semblance of stability when you'd already seen the truth about them and expanded out of them, it probably didn't work. You probably found that all of those people and things just seemed to eject you or reject you out of them. And this isn't because there's anything wrong with you. It's because of everything right with you. It's because of how powerful you've become, how much you've expanded, how much you've grown, how much you're ready for now that you were never ready for before. And so it's a beautiful thing that you've expanded so far. You quite literally could not retreat back even if you wanted to. That door essentially has been locked from the other side since you shut it. And you've been in the hallway, you've been in the void, but a powerful new door is opening for you and you've been feeling it. This has been a fertile void of magical creation. It's not been an empty space. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards, even though I know we're 25 minutes in. By the way, I usually say this at the beginning, but today I am drinking a fresh pressed green juice, which I know is different from my usual coffee. I already had my morning coffee earlier today. So let me know what you're eating or drinking if you have anything during this reading. And I'm just going to take a little sip of this here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into what messages want to come through. I just saw the 10 of Cups in my mind's eye. I didn't pull that card yet. We'll see if it comes out. But I always see this as representing this era of peace and harmony and connection for you. All of your cups being fulfilled, all of your desires, in a sense, being fulfilled. And I'm hearing, and this has been a major message coming through, anything that cannot connect with you in that energy of peace and harmony will not be able to find you or reach you at this time, no matter how hard it's looking for you. So that is a message coming up for someone. I heard Aries. Someone could be an Aries here. I also got the Knight of Cups in the upright position. So I'm hearing following your heart leads you to everything that you desire, because often this card does have a romantic undertone. And I do see that for many of you, you may be manifesting in romantic people or opportunities that do meet you and reflect to you this wholeness and support you in your wholeness. By the way, for some reason, I feel like maybe I didn't fully emphasize this because my guides are pushing me to say it more clearly. Earlier, we talked about how in the past, and maybe for some of you, this applies specifically romantically, where I feel like I might just be speaking to one or two people here, but romantically, for someone listening in the past, you encountered a lot of different souls in your life who activated or triggered or awakened different parts of you. And this process was very difficult and very painful because often what would happen is you would have a very intense connection with someone and they would feel so deeply familiar. They may have even been a soul connection for you, but they were reflecting back to you something that you needed to go searching for within yourself. They may have validated for you something internally that you were learning how to validate for yourself, or they may have shined a light on some part of yourself that needed to be shown self-love. Something about them that you admired may have actually been a trait or quality that you'd been repressing within yourself that you needed to integrate. And so what I'm getting is, once you did all of that integration work, once you learned how to fully love yourself, once you began to really self-actualize as you are now, to incorporate all those aspects you admire in yourself, in your own life, you are showing up with so much wholeness that you may have noticed that many of those past connections just fell out of your life because they were all pointing you back to your wholeness, but they couldn't, in many cases, actually hold you in your wholeness or support you in that wholeness. And so now, and again, I feel like I'm speaking to a very small group, so only take this if it resonates. But what I'm getting for this group is now you are attracting in love that actually meets you in your wholeness. And this is a completely different kind of love than you've ever experienced before, and a kind of love most people never get to experience because they don't have the courage to follow their intuition through the whole process, to trust that there are connections out there that can fully meet them and support them in their wholeness, in their power, in their self-love, in their self-confidence. I feel like this romantic path has required a huge amount of bravery from you. And for many of you, if this isn't applying romantically, this may be opportunities that didn't pan out, or friendships, or places where you always felt transient in a way, like you were constantly relocating or moving from job to job or place to place or friend group to friend group, community to community, but never really It's like every experience was important and it was teaching you something about yourself or reflecting something back to you about yourself. But now you are entering this era of your own wholeness where the people, the romance, the opportunities, the community that come into your life now are all reflecting and supporting that wholeness. And that is the main message that I feel my guides are trying to bring through this reading today. So I really hope that that made it through to someone who ever needed that message. And I am going to continue this on to our extended reading on Patreon or YouTube memberships. You can listen from either place, and the link to listen is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. When you do become a member, either on Patreon or YouTube memberships, you get access to 3 additional exclusive readings every single week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I would love to see you over there if you feel guided to join. And I am going to close this reading with one final Rumi Oracle message. From nothing to everything. I feel like even just the title of that card is really significant for someone. So let's see what the guidebook says here. Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page, Rumi. Wow, that really feels aligned with us talking about the void. The void is almost like that blank page here that you had to have the courage to become in order for a more profound story to be written. Okay, and the guidebook also says, there are moments on the path of love that seem to focus on letting go of identities, of knowledge and certainty, of opinions, and even attempts at control. We may feel as though we are being stripped back to our core, and even then, perhaps further still, we may wonder if we can bear it. When we are asked to dispense with our story, our interpretations we have given to our life experiences over the years, we may not hear the request at first. But perhaps we are then graced with the realization there is so much more. Then something magical happens. We participate through presence along with the unfolding story of our soul journey. We open up to whatever is asked of us, presented to us, happening through us, as we choose each day to come alive as much as we can. Then, as if by magic, there is something else that occurs. Once we stop thinking quite so much and live day to day, we will be blessed with the realization that our individual life story is so much more extraordinary and perfect than anything we could have summoned, even with our wildest imagination. This oracle comes with guidance for you. You are being asked to let go, to receive, to become empty, to be filled. So that feels like a beautiful place to close the reading. Again, I will be continuing now onto Patreon and YouTube memberships. So the link to continue on with me is under this video. Otherwise, I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing day, and I will connect with you here again in Monday's reading.